Very warm welcome into the form, and what a form we've got to look forward to. So much to get through. Of course, we've got the Everest to look forward to. We've got to talk about the Caulfield Cup, and we're back at headquarters again here. So we've got the team back in as usual. Leith Innes, Aidan Rodley and Bevan Sweeney, and this is what's coming up on the form. We're going to start with the big one, the Everest. We've been building towards this, and it is finally the weekend. Then we're talking about the Caulfield Cup. Of course, got to go through one of the time-honoured races there, our race trackers. Then we're heading to Ellerslie, checking out the best races on their program. The same at Otaki. Then on Sunday we've got the Waverley Cup to touch on, and our best bets as usual to round out the show. It's a massive day at Randwick on Saturday, and we're lucky enough to have Jane Ivel on the ground at Randwick. So a very good morning to you, Jane. And what weather and track conditions are we looking like getting on Saturday?
Yeah, well, the sun's certainly shining at the moment, as you can see behind me. We're actually at Rose Hill this morning, caught up with Chris Waller as Jolie Starr did a piece of work on the course proper. But in terms of Randwick, the track's certainly drying out. We did have a conversation with the track staff this morning. They said they're sort of bordering on a bit of a soft 5 at the moment, but we do have a few showers scheduled for tomorrow. So they're hoping that they get sort of the lower end of the scale in terms of rain coming in tomorrow. And look, I think the track will be sitting around that soft bordering on a good track.
Sounds like almost near perfect conditions as we take a look at the market. It is race number 7 on the program, and you can see here Jolie Starr $6, I Wish I Win $6.50, Traffic Warden sitting there at $7, and then Growing Empire on that line of betting at $8. Leith, what about the speed? Who do you see setting it up here?
You certainly think Storm Boy from Barrier 5 would be the natural leader. It just gives those 3-year-olds a good chance as well. Lady Camelot goes forward, Growing Empire, and it just gives a horse like Traffic Warden, Jolie Starr, perfect trip just in behind the leaders. And then you've got the back markers as I Wish I Win, Private Eye, Bella Nipotina are drawn out, so they're going to have to be ridden back anyway.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the first form reference coming in. It is Growing Empire, and I Wish I Win in behind. Aidan, how do you assess this form leading into Saturday?
I think it's the A-grade form myself. I thought the effort of Growing Empire was terrific to kick on like it did. But we all have our eyes on I Wish I Win, who in 2 runs at Moonee Valley has been making ground. This isn't his track. It's too short a straight for him to really wind up. He gets to the broader track of Randwick on Saturday, and he will be bang on. He'll be set obviously to be at his absolute A game, even better than last year when he ran so well. I think he's the horse to beat. Although I was really taken by what I saw of Growing Empire. I thought was the main danger in the race too. Yeah,
I certainly think the Barrier 9 is going to be a big plus for him this year as well. And look, from last year when he was unlucky in the race, I've set him for this race, and all the target races have just fallen into place. And he's going to get a perfect track where it's just between that sort of good and soft. Growing Empire, he's a really good 3-year-old colt.
I think he's an exciting colt, and that's exactly the way Kieran Maher describes him. We don't know his ceiling yet. He runs some really impressive sectionals in the Manikato and got beaten a lip. In saying that, there was plenty of merit in the run of I Wish I Win. The race shape really didn't suit him. He didn't have anything to bring him into the race. He had to do the work himself. Probably gets a track that's going to suit him much better, as you mentioned, Leith, at Randwick, and his preparation is built perfectly into an Everest. But with the weight differential, you've certainly got to appreciate that some of these up-and-coming star 3-year-old colts are definitely going to be making their presence felt.
Absolutely, and speaking of them, let's take a look at the likes of Storm Boy here. He finishes 4th, obviously Traffic Warden 2nd. Jane, how do you assess their form?
Look, I don't think there's much between the 2 colts, to be honest. I know in their last 2 outings in the Run to the Roses and the Golden Rose that Traffic Warden has had the better of Storm Boy, but he's gotten to a awkward habit in his races of missing away, and so Storm Boy's the one that's had to do a lot of work early, and I think that's told at the finish of his races. It's going to be really interesting to see how they approach this race tactically, the Waterhouse Box stable. I guess from the barrier they will have options with Storm Boy, and I'll be really interested to see what they do with him if he misses away. I'd love to see him take a sit somewhere in the field. I don't know that will happen. I guess with a weight advantage they may want to use that and push forward with him, but I don't see actually really a lot of speed unless the 3-year-olds take it up. I Am Me, obviously drawn in barrier 1. She looks a likely target to sit somewhere handy in the field, but she's taken a trail her last couple, so perhaps Lady of Camelot and Stormboy will come across. But Traffic Warden hasn't had to do as much work in those last 2 runs as Stormboy, and I think it's told in the finish. I don't think there's much between them.
No, the engagement of Brendan Ardella from Hong Kong as well is a big plus. Like Stormboy, he's been missing the kick and he's been burnt up like 2 or 3 times in the race, and he hasn't been beaten by much. You've got Traffic Warden on the inside of him, and Nash from barrier 1, he'll be pretty positive as well. So I'm picking there's going to be look, it's a $20 million race, so there's going to be a pretty genuine tempo, I think.
Well, I think you've got to take a line through Broadsiding's run in the Caulfield Guineas to some extent out of that, and I think he underperformed in that. So I'm just a little bit dubious of the form out of the Golden Rose. Traffic Warden was good, no doubt, and Stormboy was good actually after, Jane said, doing early work. So there was enough around both those runs to say, yep, they're worthy of a shot of an Everest, but whether they're bona fide contenders in this race, that's another thing for mine. Let's have a look at the Premier Stakes next and have a look here at Bella Nipotina coming up against Giga Kick. Bella Nipotina, she's one who gets back. She'll need this to be truly run, but boy, she was good last time. She's run the quickest last 200 of that race and been really good in doing it as well. Giga Kick's obviously a winner of this race a couple of years ago. I'm not so sure he's racing as well as what he was then, Lee.
No, he's probably certainly not. He's another one. They've definitely set him for this race, and look, you wouldn't be surprised if he came out and ran 3rd, 4th, but I just can't see him winning on his previous run where James rode him. He had the choice in the race as well between him and Jolly Star, and look, he was in the trail the other day, came out at the right time, and he just didn't really hit the line as well as he probably can.
Yeah, I don't think you lose too much with Mark Zahra in the saddle with Giga Kick. I think in terms of a replacement jockey, they've found a pretty good one. I think we have to remember with Giga Kick that he's been off the track for over 12 months and he is a big, gross animal, and he was always going to take a little bit of racing to get back to where he was. I think his runs have been adequate building into an Everest. He certainly needs to improve to be winning this year's edition, but I think Clayton Douglas is a great young trainer and he's got a wonderful handle on his horse, and he's really happy with the way that he's improved out of that race. Bella Nipotina, she was incredibly strong through the line. I'm just worried with her with the draw. I know she's overcome wide barriers previously, but they either take their medicine and go back with her, or they risk her perhaps getting caught deep. There is an option, I guess, to come across because there is some speed around her. It'll be interesting to see what tactics they adopt with her. The drying track conditions, I think, are also a little bit against her, but in terms of a really consistent horse and her lead-up runs to an Everest, that's exactly what Bella Nipotina has been. She doesn't often run a bad race, particularly at this level.
No, you'd absolutely love to own her. As we take a look at this form leading in now, we'll go to the Jericho, and one we obviously want to touch on. You've got Jolly Star running 3rd, Sunshine in Paris wins this. Jane, what did you make of Jolly Star this day?
Look, I think she just got a little bit too far out of her ground. As we know, with the race shape, Belclair was a tearaway leader, set up really strong sectionals early in the race. My only query is that Sunshine in Paris sprinted better than what she did this day. We spoke to Chris Waller this morning and he said completely ignore this run, go back to her show quality run first up and show county run first up. She's a mare that's very good fresh, and it's why they've made the decision not to have given her another run into the Everest. They've given her some time between runs. She's gone back to the trials, and there's no doubt he could not be happier with her leading into Saturday. It's no secret he thinks that she's a mare with an enormous amount of ability, so I think we'll see a little bit better from her on Saturday. But at the same time, Annabelle Neesham's been incredibly bullish about Sunshine in Paris all week as well. It's really interesting being here on the ground and listening to trainers. As you'd imagine, when they're building up to a grand final, particularly at this level, trainers have their horses at their absolute peak, but there's a lot of confident trainers and a lot of confident jockeys leading into this year's edition.
I think Jolly Star, you just got to put a line for that last run. Look, she was second up. Rosehill's not her track either, and look, she just got out of her comfort zone where she was just niggling the whole way, and she just never sort of really let down like we know she can.
And one other thing, she's been to the trial since, and it was a lovely trial, just in behind them, got to the line well. I wonder whether she's actually a more of a distance horse. She's looking for 14 or 16, and hence why, as Jane said, that they've opted to keep her fresh. But Whether she's up to the very best sprinters, that's got to be the concern. But she's in the right hands, isn't she? Chris Waller, James McDonald, and you say, yep, tick to both of those. And wouldn't it cap off an amazing week after Snazzy, Tavi and Luberon for Cambridge studs Brendan and Joe Lindsay from last week here in New Zealand? IME was very good in winning the shorts last time out. Interesting to see how this race stacks up as a form guide. The horse who ran second here, Steffi Magnetica, was pretty good and clocks quick as 6 and 4 on the way home. So I'm not too sure. Lee, how do you rating this as a leader?
Look, IME, she never goes a bad race. I think Nash is really going to suit her. The draw's there to help her. Steffi Magnetica was probably the eye-catcher of that race, so she was held up a little bit. Had to go back to the inside of IME, and I give Steffi Magnetica a great chance this week with Zach Lloyd on.
I thought a couple of really nice runs in behind in that particular race. IME, she's won 2 of her lead-ups. She comes into the Everest unbeaten this preparation, but if you look at both her runs, she's had all favours. She is going to get that again on Saturday, and she is a true 1,200 metre horse, IME. Steffi Magnetica, her run was very good, but I actually quite liked the run of Private Eye. I know a lot of people will probably say that he's not in the same form as he was leading into an Everest last year, but he's certainly a horse in his 2 previous editions has managed to finish both second and third in an Everest, so he's certainly up to this level, Private Eye. We saw him on Tuesday morning at Joe Pride Stable and he looks outstanding, Private Eye. I think he's the smoky, he's the horse everybody's forgotten about in this race, and at odds I think he can run a really big race.
Okay, well, let's hear what the connections have to say. We were lucky enough to have Jane there on the ground, and when she got their reactions post-barrier draw, we'll start firstly with Giga Kicks trainer Clayton Douglas.
Yeah, look, I'm happy where we are. We'll give Mark options to sort of, if we have to be a little bit closer, we can, and if we just have to come back and take our medicine, we can. So from that barrier, I'm very happy. Looks to be a fair bit of speed underneath us and outside us, so hopefully it works out well for him.
But if any mare's going to do it, it's probably Bella. She's done everything else. And, yeah, like she's really attacked the line her last 2 starts. So let's hope she can get a smooth run again. She's got a very uncanny knack of drawing good gates, that horse. So I think certainly her last 2 runs, this preparation, she's drawn 1 or 2. I think her last 6 have all been sort of inside of 3 or 4. So... and she thrives on it as well. So she had a sharp piece of work on Monday. She probably doesn't want too much more rain.
Yeah, I think it's good. We just probably wanted to draw inside the first half, so that's happened. And I think you can over-analyse gates too. I think she drew 15 or 16 or the outside and the Stradbroke. So we're a lot more comfortable with 6, I must say. But it'll be interesting to see how the track plays. But overall, happy.
I just think he's getting better with each run. I thought last start he really took the step. He needed to. You know, the Poseidon down the straight, he was a bit Larry, and you know he was a bit arrogant his first up run. But yeah, he showed that he can mix it with the older horses, and like I said, he's improved every start, and I think he'll improve again. So. He's pretty exciting. He's very exciting, actually.
Kieran Maher seemed pretty happy post-barrier draw. What about selections time now, Jane? We'll start with you. Who's the one for you in the Everest?
I've gone with I Wish I Win on top in the Everest. I think that his campaign this year has just been purpose-built for the race. If we go back 12 months ago, he ran over 1,400 metres in a Memsie and then was freshened into an Everest. I think they've planned out his preparation into the race much better this time round. He does need to improve from what we saw from him and both the Moya and the Manikato and the ratings that he put up, but I think he gets conditions here in Sydney to absolutely do that. He's certainly the horse to beat. He's proven at this level, but I do like Growing Empire. I think he's a really exciting colt, and I think his ability is pretty untapped at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Jane. We look forward to your coverage from Randwick as well for us on Saturday. Until then, we wish you the best.
Yeah, looking forward to Saturday. It's been a great week. The build-up's exciting. Can't wait to get there on race day.
What about now, guys? Your selections. Leith, we'll start with you. Who are you with?
Well, I could put a line for probably 3 of those horses in the race, and look, it's going to come down to the last sort of 10 metres of the race where it's going to be a winning ride, and I reckon Zach Lloyd, he's riding well at the moment. I'd love to see Bjorn Baker win. It'd be some party and some show he'll put on. They had a circus for the draw, but I think Bjorn's party would be better.
Leith, obviously there's a $10 million up for grabs for anyone picking them in the right order, so we need to know those last 3 places. So who are the ones you're penning for starters?
Well, I put a line through Lady Camelot, and then I put a line through Private Eye, and I put a line through Storm Boy.
Okay, Sir Owen Glenn, I'll get him on the phone and potting the Golden Slipper.
I still think there might only be sort of 3 lengths from first to last, but it's a tight race, and it's going to come down to tactics, as we all know, and I just think Zac Lloyd, if he gets his timing right, he could be picture perfect, win by a nose.
Yeah, some sort of run. I've got to wear the Kiwi cap and stick with I Wish I Win. The lead-up runs have been fantastic at a track where it just hasn't suited him at Moonee Valley. I thought the main danger was Growing Empire. Really like what I've seen from this horse. And Leith, as we'd said, as Jane has sort of pointed out, that first run was right-handed at Rosehill and had trialled twice in Sydney that right-handed way of going, as well as won 4 of 6 and 2 very good second placings as well.
There you go. So that's what the guys are liking. Yep, got to be with I Wish I Win. And speaking of that $10 million, don't forget you can sink your teeth into this. Will you be this year's winner? It was struck last year. Coming the 19th of October. Get involved with the T&Cs available on the TAB website. And another reason to get in behind I Wish I Win, we've got the bonus back on him as well. So if you have a bet on him, he doesn't win, you get your cash back up to $50 as bonus cash with the TAB. So get involved this Saturday. The Premier Racing continues at Australia. We now need to have a look at the time-honoured Caulfield Cup. We'll have a look who's your favourite. That is Buckaroo, deservedly at $4.20. From Elias at $7, Dozy at $8 and Land Legend at $9.50. Let's go back to the form, and Leith, Buckaroo has really come into his own, and this was another brilliant performance.
Yeah, certainly the Magic Man Joe Morea has really clicked for him as well, and he was, I wouldn't say unlucky here. He's beaten by Via Sistina, and look, I just don't think the soft track really suited him as well, Pip. He was very good to the line. He had 58 kilos as well, and it's the sort of race going into a Caulfield Cup, it just maps so well for him.
Yeah, really good performance, obviously, from a horse who has just improved out of sight with preparation, winning a Chelmsford, winning an Underwood, and then running second after making so much ground from a long, long way back in the Turnbull. So, as Leith said, he's been primed for this. He's won 5 of 21. He's in the Chris Waller camp. And as Leith said, Joe Moreira doing the riding. So real respect around Buckaroo, who just seems to be just a different horse to when he first arrived in Australia. We'll take you back to the Metropolitan, a couple of very good runs. Really fighting performances, Leith, from both of these, Land Legend, but maybe the pick of them, Zodozi's, whose effort was full of merit.
Yeah, they really put a bit of a gap on them from the to the 3rd place and 4th place horse as well. And Zodozi's got Andre Azatini from Hong Kong in as well. So, look, he just gets in with a beautiful weight, the mare, 51 kilos, and, you know, this was 2,500 metre race as well. The Night Knowledge was really good. Obviously, it was a bit of a front-runner's course at Caulfield, but she was really good in the Might and Power. She probably looks like the natural leader. She's drawn out in barrier 17, though, but, look, Craig Newett on, good lightweight rider, and winning form's pretty good, Rod?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really good Caulfield Stakes. He beats home Mr. Brightside in Tissue. Tissue is very, very good indeed. Good ride from Mark Zahra this day. Has won 9 of 36, and Anthony and Sam Friedman looking to defend their Caulfield Cup title, having won this race without a fight last year as well. So it does seem to be going well. I'm really interested to get your take on the weights, Leith. What, a 55 kilogram top weight in the Caulfield Cup? It just means we're denying those top jockeys the chance to race in one of the big majors.
Yeah, look, you've got a couple Hong Kong jockeys there. I don't know the last time that Zach Purden rode 53, but it's just ridiculous. Like, you got a 5 kilo spread, but, you know, it just shows you how Melbourne is sort of just running behind that Sydney sort of scene at the moment, and, you know, they've got to sort the weights out, give these jockeys an opportunity as well.
Yeah, they just needed to put the weights up here for sure, for mine at least anyhow. Japanese Raiders, one who's really interesting here, a horse who's run 5th in a Tenno show. So we're looking for Warp Speed. That's a horse in the yellow blinkers there. Northern Farm bred and Yamada owned. I just thought this was the right sort of form. I know it's a really tricky barrier draw for a horse on Australian debut, but to be running 5th in one of the world's premier races with a performance like this, he was hitting the line well. He's won look, 3 times over 2,400 metres, never over any less. I thought he was a big contender in this race, Lee.
Yeah, we certainly see these Japanese horses when they arrive to Australia. They grow another leg as well. And look, it's a tricky gate. I'd rather see an Australian-based jockey on. Nothing against the Japanese, but just around Caulfield with their wide draw, I'm just not too sure.
And of course, the Kiwi, real Kiwi flavour in the race is Positivity, who'll go around in the Ben Kwok colours for Andrew Forsman, who was winning the Naturalism a couple of starts back, ran fairly well in the Bart Cummings from a fair way back, only beaten 2.5 lengths. I thought this was a real eye-catcher, a terrific Caulfield Cup trial, and of course, Andrew Forsman was attached to Murray Baker's stable. He was his New Zealand training partner when Murray won the race with Mongolian Khan back in 2015, Lee.
Yeah, she's certainly in the market as well, and I know Andrew's over there at the moment and he's happy. He was just worried about this day where the track was just a little bit off, so he's hoping for a good sort of 4 track this week, and she gets him with 50 kilos as well. It's she's a massive top 4 chance. So
does that mean you've got her in the selections, Leith, or who have you put on top?
Look, I've gone Buckaroo on top, Pip. I just think Joe Maria, like the 54.5 kilos, even though he's sort of one back from the top weight of 55, he's just in great form since he's been gelded, this horse. And what do you say, Chris Waller, Joe Maria? I just can't see him getting beat from, he's paying $4.20. I can see him probably starting at $3.20 maybe.
Yeah. He's in great form, Leith, no question. For mine, I'd love to see Positivity win for Andrew Forsman, but my top selection in the race is Warp Speed. Just from what we've seen, looking back through the form in Japan, he just looks like a stayer from the very top draw, and I think even despite that wide barrier draw, that he'll be very hard to beat in this year's Caulfield Cup.
And it all gets underway too on Trackside 1, and don't forget Premier is back as well this weekend, so you can catch all of the extended coverage for the Everest and the Caulfield Cup, Sky Channel 504, Freeview Channel 12 and trackside.co.nz. Premium coverage of Randwick, Caulfield and Ellerslie, and it'll be hosted by Emily Murphy and Bruce Sherwin, so do not miss it. It's that time, our racetrackers. Leith, we'll start with you. Who have you found this week?
Yeah, I'm going to take you back to Te Rapa last week, race 1, Pip. Sought after. Look, he was dragged back from the wide gate, and his sectionals in the race were the second fastest of the day. He's come home the last 633.95. The only other horse to beat him on the day was Liver's Sky in race 8. So the track was probably a little bit dry later in the day as well, and look, he's running on the Monday of the Labour Day meeting in the Annie and James Sarton Memorial over 1,400 metres, and he just needs a barrier draw, and I think he'll be going close to winning.
I've got one that's running actually on Saturday at Otiki, Risque Ruler for Janelle Miller. This is a nightmare watch for people that played it on this occasion. It just runs out of room. If it got a crack at them inside the last 100 metres, I think it would have gone very close to winning it. It had a lot of trouble before this moment and went to the line hard held.
For me, I'm going to take you back to Ashburton last Saturday and have a look here at the run of Little Xena. I thought was massive in a race that really has favoured those on speed. Little Xena's come from a long way back, run the quickest last 800, 600, 200, second quickest last 400 of the race. Comes out of some really good lead-up form prior, was good in stakes company leading into this. Still a maiden and won't be for long, Pip.
And I'm going to take you back to a dog on Tuesday, a par with Jason. He was really unlucky. He was just trying to get into a gap accelerating around, and he got cheeked out of it. He came into this off the back of a really strong trial too. He was the absolute black bookie here on Tuesday, and I just think follow him. Next up, he'll go very close for Marcy Flip. Here's a summary of what we're liking. Note them down, pop them in your black book. Sought after for Leith, a Risque Roulette for Bevan, Lil Xena for Aiden, and I'm with a par with Jason. We're back at Ellerslie this weekend. So, Leith, what's the weather looking like up these ways?
Yeah, it looks pretty good at the moment, Pip. Look, obviously the rail's out 3 metres. Last time they raced in the true position. So, as we know now, Ellerslie's always going to come up with that good 4 come race morning. There's a few showers, northeasterlies, a low of 12 and a high of 18. So, it should be just perfect conditions with that rail out 3 metres.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the first race. It's race number 6 that we want to touch on, where Nest Egg is one of the favourites in the market at $6.50, a move or two from the opening quote. Favourite though, the Odyssey at $4, Bosch at $4.20 and Quality Time at $4.80, who we are going to go back and take a look at. Leith, what did you make of this run and the ones behind?
Yeah, I thought Quality Time was really good. It's probably a horse in the race that's probably going to lead or map to sort of sit just outside the leader. The Odyssey was good. From a long way back, he made a long section run. Comes into the race fourth up as well. So, look, it's a pretty good form race. We saw Wolfgang there, who was a bit unlucky in the race last week in Australia. So it's a pretty good form race.
Yeah, I think if I was going to be taking one out of that particular race, it would be the Odyssey. Quality Time, yeah, did all the donkey work early and kicked on strong enough. But I think if there's one there from me, it is the Odyssey. It looks like a decent sort of staying type for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree entirely. I'm taken by what I've seen of the Odyssey. Remember this horse winning that Remataka Classic at Trentham in January. That was just some sort of performance. And he just seems to be building really nicely. That was, as Leith said, just kept on coming with a long, sustained run. And I thought was the big improver into this race. Horse who's bringing undeniable form is Bosch. Boy, just a horse who's been able to blitz his rivals in the last couple, scoring by 3 1/4 and 4 1/4. Both of these out at Ruakaka, so always a little bit wary about Ruakaka form going to other tracks. And my Maybelline Girl's been a horse who I think won a Nathan's here last preparation as well, but a little bit disappointing at Harbour the last time out, Leith.
Yeah, Bosch is in good form. Obviously, home track's advantage. He's only had one start at Ellerslie before. Kelly Myers on though, so from barrier 2 should be able to just sort of sit just behind the speed as well.
I think this is the map special, isn't it? Jumps from 2, will find a forward spot. He's been staying very, very strongly. Somewhere around, I know Ruakaka to Ellerslie, it's a big transition. However, the horse has been flying, so it has to be respected. And then we've got a horse like Nestig, who will be heading down south. And look, I thought this was one heck of a performance, second up to win this particular race. Now, it got there by a short margin. It'll carry 60 on Saturday, so it's up a couple of kilos. Look, I'm not sure it'll be winning on Saturday because there's bigger fish to be frying, but look, it's the old school Nestig that we saw last season, Leith coming to the fore and going really well.
Yeah, he certainly enjoyed the firmer footing at Ellerslie as well, and he was really good to the line as well. But just with that 60 kilos this week, I just can't quite have him on my top 3.
He's not a horse who's normally going this early in his preparation. In the past, he did run really well for second up last preparation. Then his form sort of dipped away again before it came back up again for the Riccarton Carnival. I'm sure that's the way that Stephen Marsh is shaping his preparation to have him ready for Riccarton. In the end, I've settled with the Odyssey, just like what I've seen in the 3 runs back. I think fourth up, primed, ready to go for a horse who I think maybe just about the best quality in this field. Leith, how about you?
Yeah, he certainly gets well weighted as well. I'm going for a Quality Time. I think even though he's got the 59.5 kilos, look, he's third up. He's probably the natural leader in the race, and Sam Spratt sits as well. So I think he's a great bet.
I'm going a little bit outside the square. I really like the chances of Arby. You go back through the form lines, was a very talented stayer early on in its career and was very good last preparation when it stepped up over ground. It was only 2.2 lengths off Seamus. Over 1,400 metres and then struck a very wet track behind Mustang Valley. Steps up over ground on Saturday. The one concern is its performances will couple at Ellerslie, albeit the one behind Seamus wasn't too bad. So I quite like the 850 third up over ground, better track conditions, Sam Weatherly for the team. I'm with RB at 850, Pat.
Like the value, and the first race from Ellerslie, if you want to get involved, 1:30 p.m. on Saturday. Our second domestic meeting on Saturday is out of Otaki, so we know that's your area, Bevan. What are we looking like weather and track-wise?
Well, it's actually on improve. Pip, the forecast early on in the week was for a lot of rain Friday afternoon into Saturday. Well, that's disappeared. So it's come up in the soft range at the present moment. I think it can only be on the improve. There's some very good betting fields there on Saturday.
Certainly is. So let's take a look at the market and see who heads the betting, and that is Rolls at $3.50, who's been good since coming to New Zealand, Sumi at $3.60 and Tobias at $5.50. Speaking of Sumi, let's go back to her when she finished 5th in the Breeders' Stakes. What did you make of this day, Bevan?
I thought she was very good, and I think this race will really stack up. I thought this was a quality running of this particular race, and she is a mare that's probably just under like the top level, but she is very, very competitive. Elle's very, very confident about how she's come up this preparation. I think she gets into this race really nicely. I think the better track conditions, Leith, will really suit her, and I think she's very hard to beat weight-wise.
Yeah, certainly with Lily Sullivan taking the kilo off and being third up, she's going to be super fit as well, and she gets to a distance where a miles does look on that run. It looks like it's really going to suit her as well.
Yeah, you just know that she's going to be improved out of those 2 runs. She's doing everything right. She'll just be ready to go. I know there was a lot of confidence with Ellen Sharrock in that Harwood race. So while she may have slightly underperformed considering his expectations, it should mean that everything's right and ready to go for this weekend. The main danger is clearly the Australian raider in Rolls, who was good in winning at Moonee Valley a couple of starts back, came to New Zealand, looked to be getting a run at Hastings, missed that, travelled all the way from their base at Otaki up to Matamata, where he ran a very good second behind Wolfgang, and it's a lot of the form that we're talking about going into the Ellerslie race, so beating home the likes of certainly the Odyssey there as well, so quality time in that race as well. It's not a bad form line, Leith.
Yeah, it certainly is. Obviously he was in the Livermore last week and he was scratched, so I'm not quite sure if he's 100%. Obviously he's back to a mile this week, 60 kilos, but just have a little bit of a question mark why he didn't race. He flew over from Australia to run in the Livermore. He got in the field and he was scratched.
Yeah, I think there is a few question marks there for sure, Leith. And 1,600 metres with 60 kilos won't be easy with Sumi getting down to 55.5, maybe just with a little bit more freshness in the legs at the 1,600 metres. Look, Make Time is a player. I do actually see this as pretty much a 2-horse war between the 1 and the 3 Rolls, and Sumi Orlov might be a little bit of a surprise for David Howarth. Is a really, really nice horse. But this is Kopur winning. Like he can test your Kopur, but he's a really, really sharp horse. And Make Time's come into some very good form. Whether it's good enough to be winning this race, I'm not 100% sure, but it'll be very competitively.
Yeah, Kapua, we've watched him a few times and we've had the red light on him, but he was super at Taupo. I think Testified Me's another horse in the race where he's got good fresh up form. I don't know if it's just a 2-horse race. I thought Testified Me's probably some chance as well.
Yeah, Make Time's effort was good, and hitting the line well. It's only been beaten half a length, drops a couple of kilograms off that, so have to have real respect about that. And just going back into Rolls, the reason for the defection from the Livermore was just a stone bruise, which came out on the Saturday. So they've had a week to get over that. Obviously, anything like that, you just got to be in the back of your mind. But they were always planning on going to the Otaki race once they had to scratch from the Livermore. So there's not a lot. I agree with Bevan entirely. Sumi and Rolls, I thought they were very close. In the end, I've settled on Sumi. Leith, for you?
Sumi as well. I just think the kilo off is her back, 55.5 kilos. Third up, she looks like she's going to probably peak this week.
Completely agree. I'm just going with Sumi. I think weighted 55.5 on the improve coming out of a strong race, suited at the 1,600 metres. Sumi take out the feature at Otaki Saturday. Pip.
There you go, and if you like her as well as the guys, well, they have got the odds surge around her too, so you can get your little boosted odds on each and every race, including the feature on the day, race number 8, and that's Saturday across all races. We head to Waverley for the Waverley Cup on Sunday. Bevan, we're getting same kind of conditions as Otaki?
I think it'll be massively on the improve, absolutely. It did cop a fair bit of rain. It was at that heavy 8 sort of stage, but we went there last time it was heavy 8 and raced a lot better than that. Improves quickly. I think with a little bit of good weather leading into Sunday, we should be able to get away with a decent sort of track again for all runners.
Okay, well, the feature is the race number 7. Let's take a look at the market. Your favourite is Battle Secret at $3.90, from Canny Rock at $4, and then Mezzabine at $7s. Form reference, well, let's go back to Battle Secret finishing second. I mean, the form line hard to knock really here, Bevan. 3 wins, and then this was a good effort. Oh,
he's going really, really well. He's the type of horse who surprised me on a good 4 at Hawara. He was really, really competitive this day. Canny Rock was very, very good. Probably the match of him on this occasion, just to the eye. Sacred Pearl won really, really nicely. There was a shower rain at this stage of the day. Canny Rock's very, very good up the inside, but he's going very well. He's at home with very flash in the race. He gets him with 56, although there's 4 coming off very flash. But I didn't think there was a lot between them on the day. Battle Secret at home might just have the advantage there, Leith.
You'd think so. Home track, he gets in with 56 kilos as well. A lot of his horses are sort of using it as a bit of a lead up to the New Zealand Cup as well. So Look, I thought Kenny Rock, he's just got to jump out better out of the gates. He was very slow out, even though he was drawn wide last start. If he can just posse up sort of just behind the speed, he looks like he's a definite sort of top 3 chance. Mahoe was really good. Look, I know he's racing out of his grade, but Rahan Goramon gets down to about 51 kilos. He could be hard to catch if he's in front, rolling along. I know he's up in class, but I just have a feeling that he's going a little bit better this time in.
He really is, and like as you mentioned, the weight's going to be key. I just see with Kenny Rock, with Tristan aboard, gets down to 53. So, look, I think there's a little bit of a class differential there. Although Mahoe put together a couple of really, really good performances and is going really well. I'm going to stick with Kenny Rock. I think he goes down south and is competitive. I think that race is really set up now with LJ winning on Sunday. That they all pretty much set in stone, so they're all efforts to get down there. So I'll go with Kenny Rock, but I don't think there's a lot in it between that and Battle Secret and even Mahoe, as you've mentioned, Lee.
Yeah, I don't think Tristan Moodley would be getting to 53. It'd be like me getting down to 60 at the moment, but I think he might be able to get down to about 54 kilos. I'm going to go Mahoe. Look, I think Rahan's riding well at the moment. If he can just get a nice sectional in front with the 51 kilos, he might be able to just sprint off the bend and steal this race at probably rough odds at 20 and $5 a place.
Yeah, big odds. So that's what Leith is liking. And Bevan, in the Waverley Cup, your feature at 4:21 on Sunday. Don't miss the action on the Sunday session, the first race from 12:20.
So Strict clinging on, then big time Tamarin removal. Doubt So Strict does enough. So Strict gets the business done here.
Mantra Blue's gone to her along the inside. Mantra Blue hit the lead, and it's 2 for Zachary Butcher. And tonight he's driving in the arms of an angel. It's Cleat on the inside, gobbled up by Lux Libertas. Coming with Lux Libertas is on the town. Lux Libertas in front, and the good thing for the day delivers.
Yes, it was a great week for us last time for the best bets, so hopefully we can keep up that form. Leith, we'll start with you. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to take you to Ellerslie on Saturday, Val di Soldo. I think she's due a win. She's very unlucky last start. She races well at Ellerslie, 57.5 kilos, barrier 2. Look, she's $3.70, and I think she'll be awfully hard to beat from there.
I'm going to take you to one of the locals on Sunday, and Frank the Tank G just blew them off the racecourse last time. It's another Sunday grade race, so I'm sure he's heading to something a little bit more serious, but he's just got to put it all together. If he puts it all together in that type of race, he'll be winning by a margin. He's got a bit of class about him.
Yeah, it was really good last time out too. I'm going to take you to Wingatui on the Friday and have a look here at Pivotal 10. The last start run for second was in behind Lavender Hayes, who was sent out $1.40 favourite after a stakes placing. Pivotal 10's run was excellent, and prior to that was a trial winner. So, yeah, I've got a lot of respect around this runner.
And I'm going to Ellerslie, race number 3, Toss You For It for Stephen Marsh. I thought the performance when fresh up second was really good from the mare. She took on plenty of stakes races as a 3-year-old at last prep, and I thought she could take it out at a second start back this preparation with Naku Haley taking the 3 kilos off her back. Here's a summary. Aiden's up the top there. Rosso likes big time Kiwi at Wanganui on Friday. The Whale, Duchess Megs it, and then you can see mine, Leith and Bevan's in behind. So note them all down. Hopefully we've found you plenty of winners for the weekend. Enjoy all of the action. It's going to be a bumper weekend wherever you are. Make sure you tune in. Until then, we'll catch you back next week.